I made a video a while ago on the best times to do it in the summer, but now that it's fall, it's a little bit different just because the time changes. I know in America that it's different because our time difference and daylight savings, which happens usually around November. So after that point, it gets dark very fast. So I'll just give some information on kind of like the best times. Okay, so I like dividing it up into 4 different parts. So that's the morning, golden hour, and then there's the afternoon or late morning, and then there's blue hour. So those ones are the main ones that I like to look at. If you're doing other things like landscape photography, you're gonna have some night astro where it's blue, and then where it's fully dark when you go out to shoot. So it really depends on what you're shooting. But as far as portraits, which I want to touch on the most, so you've got your golden hour, which is after sunrise and before sunset, before any of the gold light is completely gone. So that is the time when you're gonna get the most gold photos, and that's usually a 30 to 45 minute duration. So there are different websites online that help you figure out when your sunset is, and usually you want to subtract 45 or 30 minutes before that and get out and shoot. One thing about that is actually going beforehand and staying for an hour in between that time. So your sunset is during one time, and then you shoot for 30 minutes before that and 30 minutes after that. That's usually a good length. Sometimes 45 minutes is better for that. Okay, so for example, this is 30 minutes after sunrise, in between that time where it's nice. I'm really softest light where the sun is pretty low on the horizon. You kind of need to plan out a lot more for fall photos so that you can actually get out there in time and still take good photos. So the next time of day that you can go shoot out is something like afternoon or midday, and it's a little bit harder to shoot during this time if you're doing portraits, to get really decent photos during the fall, but you can still do it. There are some very great tutorials out there, but I'll give some tips. So when you're shooting, you'll notice that if you're doing portrait work, that a lot of the light is going to be very hard on anybody's face if it's direct. Even if it's to the side, you're going to get one lit side and then the other dark. So some ways that you can combat that is there are a couple of things like fill light or using a reflector to balance light on the opposite side of the face, so that you don't get that as much. You can also go in shadows, and you can also retouch the images, but you'll notice on the skin that pores and other facial features will be enhanced, and there will be a darker shadow, especially on the neck. Going down to the neck, you'll see some difference there. So it's difficult, but it's more than possible. The other thing with shooting in the fall during the afternoon is that a lot of the leaves are going to be very, very, very sharp, as far as contrast between light and dark between the leaves, because there's going to be a lot of light on them. So you might not get a full spread of orange and yellow as much as you would later on in the afternoon or during golden hour. So that's just something to keep in mind. And last but not least, we're going to talk about blue hour. So blue hour is the time after sunset and before sunrise. So this is after all the gold light is gone. There's not a lot of light going on, so you'll probably have to either bump up your ISO or lower if you're shooting something like leaves during the fall. If you're shooting something like leaves during the fall during blue hour, you'll notice that it takes away any of the orangeness to the images. So and you might get very dark very dark images. So that's just something else to be aware of. And so those are the best times to shoot during the fall and what to look for and some tips. Hopefully you enjoyed, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Honey, you sound and look as if you're going to cry, ... Well, let me tell you something. So I was probably very tired during that video. I know I was very tired now thinking back about it. I was doing like maybe 10 videos over the